So this right here behind me is my 2016 F80 M3, and here's my honest 6-month overview of owning this thing. So like I said, I have owned this car for around 6 months, and I guess you can call it my daily driver slash weekend car. I do have another daily, which is the Subaru WRX, but when I don't really feel like driving the WRX, I start dailying this thing because it's faster. I bought this car with around 54,000 miles, and right now 6 months later, it currently sits at around 62,000 miles. So I've put a good amount of miles on this car, around 8,000. So I feel like I have a good feel of how this car is daily driving it. So I bought this car relatively stock. The only thing that came with the car was a complete set of GRZ coilovers. This car came lowered. The previous owner installed some coilovers. The car didn't really stay stock for a long time. Right away when it got in my hands, I instantly started throwing mods on this car. It's still lowered on the same coilovers. We got some 3-piece wheels right here. We got a pretty much complete carbon fiber aero kit. We got a front lip, carbon fiber side skirts, and a carbon fiber rear diffuser, and a carbon fiber rear spoiler. Aftermarket taillights, aftermarket headlights. If we pop the hood real quick. Some front mount intakes, as you can see through the front grills. And last but not least, an ARC Performance catback exhaust. So the car isn't too crazy right now. I would say it's tastefully modded. It's definitely not stock, but it's definitely not heavily modified. Now, in all honesty, why did I buy this M3? So a little bit of backstory with me. I pretty much started off with Subarus. My very first build was a Scion FRS. Over the years, I got another BRZ. I've gotten a couple WRXs. I got a WRX STI. So I've pretty much stayed in this whole realm of Subarus. If you can put two and two together, they're not really the quickest cars. So I bought the M3 because I feel like the F80 was that kind of stepping stone. It's kind of funny, but you typically see an STI owner upgrade into a BMW, such as an F80 M3. And it's pretty well known nowadays that BMWs are like cheat codes. Subarus, you have to drop tens of thousands of dollars to come close to a stock F80 M3. So that's why I got an M3. They're fast, they look good, and they take way less effort to make fast compared to a Subaru. Couple bolt-ons in a tune, you're making well enough power for a daily driver. Oh my gosh, bro, that DCT. Still have not mastered the DCT yet. It's such a sensitive like transmission and driving feel, but it's pretty cool because that's one of the things that is really good about this car is like how raw this car is in a way. I love raw cars like the FRS BRZ platform. Anybody who's driven an FRS, it feels like you're actually driving the car, you know what I mean? The car doesn't really drive itself, if that makes sense. Like I've driven like a 2025 M340, automatic G80 M3, a manual G83. I've driven a lot of newer BMWs, and one thing about those cars, it feels so assisted. It just feels like you're driving a computer. Manual transmission in those, it's hard to stall it. It's like almost impossible to stall that car. Just everything is so electronic. But with the F80, this car just feels amazing. It feels raw, pedal is very sensitive, so it doesn't feel like it's just a computer, you know? You feel like you're actually controlling the car. Another positive thing to add to the list, power, obviously, you know, we talked about. It's just such a cheat code. BMWs are cheat codes nowadays. Intake tune and you're like 400 or 500 horsepower. Like, it's crazy. Newer BMWs, you're going higher in the horsepower range. Power potential is just off the charts. There's literally like no other platform really that compares to it. I guess this could be like a negative and a positive thing, but a lot of people have these cars. A lot of people have BMWs. F80s are everywhere, especially with other car content creators, and it's for a reason, bro. These cars are really, really good. You know, there's a big aftermarket support for them. So ideally, whatever you want to install to the car, there's gonna be a part for it. There's gonna be an install for it. There's gonna be a shop that knows how to install it for you. So that's a good thing. There's a big community behind these cars. Say I want like a front lip. I can find probably up to 10 different styles of a front lip. Suspension setups, the list goes on and on. Like I said, whatever you want to put on this car, you probably will find it. I keep bringing back Subarus in the topic, but so used to Subaru power level, so hopping in a freaking F80 M3, it was just a world of a difference. Like, so much faster. You know, you kind of have to experience it in person. You know, if you know someone with an F80, if your friend has an F80, you know, ask if you could drive it. because like experiencing that, like it's not gonna be the same as, you know, actually feeling it in person. So if you're sold after watching this video on buying an F80, be sure to experience it first. Worlds of a difference actually physically experiencing everything. Adding on to the positives, I mean, this was kind of like a given. Interior is beautiful. In my case, I came up on such a fire spec. Extended leather package, which pretty much has the leather up below the dash over there, and then also on the door panels. Such a fire spec. Got the red guts, red leather, front and rear. And yeah, once again, I'm a broken record comparing it to Subarus, but Subarus are very, very basic. You know, the FRS, it's just a lot of the stuff is manual, but you hop in like one of these, a BMW, there's freaking carbon fiber, there's leather on the freaking door panels. Look at that, frozen white G80 right there. You know, you don't even have to own a BMW to know that, you know, the interiors of this car are very nice. It kind of sounds like cocky in a way, but like driving an F80, it kind of has a presence. I don't know, you just feel like a different person driving, you know, a BMW or F80 M3. You know you're in an M3, you know what I mean? It's like aura. That's just like a simple way to put it. Kind of feel that way driving like a WRX STI, like you're driving an STI, you know what I mean? It's just peak right there. So it definitely has like a presence, you know, for the people that know and see it on the street. You know, you'll see people staring at your car like, yo, that's like a freaking M3. So it definitely has a physical presence, which is always cool. Being a car guy, it's always nice getting people's reactions or kids' reactions coming up to you and like liking the car. You can take it to like a show, you can freaking cruise with it, track it if you want. Like, bro, there's the amount of usage that this car has is just endless. It's crazy. Oh, set off the car alarms. Dude, this is crazy, man. I still haven't gotten used to this car, to be honest. Like, I'll hop in the Mustang or whatever, like those are V8s. It is cool, but like just the torque with these cars. It's so cool. I definitely need to make it louder though. Catalyst downpipes are on the way. I literally have them at my shop ready to install. It's kind of lazy to install them, but I already know once I put those downpipes in this car, this thing's gonna be a whole different beast. So honestly, when we talk about the negatives of the car, one thing that really bothers me about this car is how low this front bumper sits. The lip hits the driveway every single time, like no matter what driveway it is. So naturally, these front bumpers just sit ridiculously low to the ground. Yeah, this front lip lasted me about, I want to say a month, if even a month. This whole piece just flew off on the freeway because I would smack it so much. But yeah, I've gone through, I think 3 lips so far, and I've only had the car for like 6 months. So that kind of gives you an idea of how low this thing is. And yeah, it's not even that low either. And the bumper sits like that. It's hard for me to give a honest, like, reliability review of this car because I've only had it for 6 months. But a couple things have happened in that 6 months that I've owned the car. So I did make a video on it, and the valve cover, the PCV valve built into the valve cover, and that went bad, which makes a super like high-pitched whining noise on this car. Yeah, it's obnoxious, man. I'm gonna try to get close. I don't know. You guys hear that? Yeah, I did a full video, you know, I installed it, showed you guys what was wrong with it. And yeah, that was one of the, I guess you could say, big issues that I ran into this car in the first 6 months of owning it. It's pretty much a very common issue with these cars around the 60,000 mile mark. And right when my car hit 60,000 miles, that happened. So kind of crazy, but we got it all squared away. Brand new valve cover. Now, if you guys saw me pick this car up, this got stuck. The gas cap completely got stuck closed. This would not open. I can't open the gas door, literally. I don't understand. I'm so confused. Like, the car's unlocked. Bro, what? For you guys that don't know, I bought this car in Las Vegas, which was 5 hours away from me. So we're in the middle of nowhere, and I was trying to pump some gas, and I literally couldn't even open the gas lid, which was crazy. Long story short, I had to replace the locking mechanisms. When you close this and lock the car, there's a little rod that comes out from this hole right here, and it goes through this hole, which locks the gas cap, so you can't open it. So long story short, that gets, I guess, wore out over time, and it gets stuck in the lock position. So no matter how much you unlock the car, that will not open. So what we pretty much did is forced something behind it and just pulled the living heck out of the gas lid, and it opens. So that was like the first 2 hours. I guess you could say that was the first problem I had. It was like the first 2 hours of owning the car. So those are literally the two problems that I ran into the car in the 6 months that I've owned it. That's all I can say as far as reliability. Speaking on reliability, a lot of people do the crank hub, which you can't see, but it's a big thing that F8X owners do. Kind of preventative maintenance for your car. I guess that's a big failing point for these cars as well. So crank hub job, I think it's like a couple grand to do. So that's probably gonna be soon. I'm gonna get that done. But yeah, as far as negatives, that's all I really have to say about the car. It's very hard to pick, you know, negative points on this car because it's overall solid. But yeah, as far as negatives on the car, that's pretty much all I have to say about my F80 M3. So we're gonna start talking about digits and some important information as far as, you know, buying an M3 and what to expect. So for insurance, I pay around $662 for 6 months. So that comes out to be like 110, 120 a month for insurance on the car. Now, given I am 28 years old, so it's definitely a lot cheaper compared to if you're like under 25 or even younger. So a little over 100 bucks a month for insurance. And I bought the car, if I can remember, I think it was around 46,000, used with around 54,000 miles. Prices are honestly fluctuating. There is some people that ask for some crazy high prices for M3s. I've seen F80s go for like 70 grand plus. Market's kind of crazy, but that's what I paid for. $46-ish thousand for 54,000 miles. My monthly payment is around mid 700s. Full tank of gas in California where I'm at, we're talking anywhere from 70 to 80 bucks for a full tank. Again, that's different in every state. You know, some states you're probably paying 50 bucks, 40 bucks, who knows? But you guys already know California is crazy. So 70-ish, 80 bucks for a full tank of the M3 of gas. Financially, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, it'll vary by state, location, but me being a 28-year-old with multiple cars that lives in California, that's how much I pay for the M3. What the heck? This is not an M3. All right, so decided to take the Mustang to work today. This pretty much concludes this whole M3 6-month review. I hope you guys enjoyed the little review I made. Wasn't really too much on like the numbers and like details and like the specs of the car. It was just more so about my experience and like just like a raw reality of owning an M3 for the past 6 months. Didn't want to get into like specs and horsepower number and MPG, all that stuff you could probably find anywhere else. Simple terms, this video was just a raw reality of owning my M3 for the past 6 months. Took the Mustang to work today. If you guys are new to the channel, this is my other car. This is my 2022 Mustang GT. In the video, like I said, I came from Subarus and stuff, but this one is one of my American muscle babies. I love this thing so much. Wide body, bagged, as you can see. Thing looks crazy. That's just one of the cool things about YouTube, man, and just one of the things I'm so thankful and, you know, fortunate for is just being able to own different cars, you know, multiple different cars. We got the M3, got the Mustang, we got a C6 Corvette, and then also a Subaru WRX. So, you know, I get to experience different types of cars and document it for you guys, and that's honestly the best thing ever, and I love so much. So it's crazy, you know, just being able to compare it to an M3. It's a complete different car, man. Especially the interior, you know, it definitely does not look like a BMW interior. You know, every car has its differences, you know, pros and cons wise, but to all you guys that have been subscribed to the channel, genuinely appreciate it so much. It literally means the freaking world. If you guys have not yet, please hit that subscribe button down below and smash a like button on this video. It definitely helps a lot. I feel like it's one of those things that I don't really tell you guys to do often. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys the Mustang. I'm actually on one of my breaks at work right now. I feel like I don't really film this car that often, so just want to give you guys a little look at the Mustang, all looking nice, all aired out and everything. But yeah, man, I hope this video helped in any way, shape, or form. If you are looking into an M3, you know, if it's like your dream car in the future, or maybe you have an M3. Yeah, in any way, shape, or form, I hope this video helped you. Hope you enjoyed. If you're this far already, comment down below, what should we do to the M3 next? I want to do downpipes and tune it. That's like the two top things that I want to do to that car. Also bag it, can't forget. So I guess you say that's the top three. Air suspension, catalyst downpipes, and a tune. I feel like the car needs that. Yeah, man, comment down below. What would you do? What would you do differently to this M3? What do you like about my M3? I don't know. Comment down below how you guys are feeling. Yeah, man, I gotta edit this video, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. With all that being said, I hope you'll have a good one today. Make it a good one, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.